Are you looking for an escape from manufactured truth wrapped in selfish agenda? Don't you just want to have a real and raw conversation, all masks and rules aside? That's what you're getting here at Titan Evolution Podcast. Get rid of all the nonsense information and discuss everything under the sun without filters. Listen to real stories of real people who will put your current perspectives to the test, guide you on living the life you truly want, and see everything free from judgment and pretenses. Time to get rid of those unhealthy environments and let your authentic self shine. Here are your hosts, Travis Johnson and Carol Carpenter.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I am Carol Carpenter, and this is my amazing co-host, Travis Johnson. Wonderful. And we have a special guest today, Christy McGinity, a good dear friend of mine. And if you've ever watched Little Women of LA, Christy McGinity was one of the actresses in that. So Christy is an actress, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur. And well, she's a little firecracker, which you're going to find out about. And she does everything from her heart and with integrity. So welcome to the show, Christy.
Thank you so much, Carol. Appreciate it. And thank you, Travis, for having me on.
Hey, I'm glad I got to meet you the other day before we did this show. So that was nice. Not a whole lot of time to chat.
I was such a zombie too. I was so tired. I was like, I know people were talking to me and I was like, I'm here, but I'm not here. You know, when you do so many things during the day and that was me that day. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that happens. Happens to me more often than I probably would like to admit.
Yeah. I was like, I know they're talking to me. I just don't know what they're saying.
I see your lips moving, but I can't make out the words. Yeah.
I'm like, I checked out.
Yeah. So like you pack your days full, right? Because like even this morning when we were talking, what were you doing this morning?
I went to go volunteer to help the homeless and so there's something out here in San Diego called the Humanity Showers, and it gives homeless people the opportunity to take a shower. Also gives them the opportunity to get new clothes, food, and ready for an interview. So, and I'm there because I'm a recovery coach too. So I'm there just to help facilitate, make them feel good, and talk to them, and yeah. That was that. And then what else did I do? I've been looking for locations for a meetup, and I've been really kind of stressed out about that. And I know it will come to me when the time is right. And then I stopped at my friend's salon. She has 3 stories, and right now the second story is under renovation. So I'm like, I'm going to go hijack your second floor because I'm in the area and I don't feel like driving all the way back home.
And I'm sure she was happy to acquiesce and help you out.
Yes. And then at 6:00, I have another meeting with some people in the community that do community work. So I'm trying to get really plugged into this area. I'm not from this area, so I'm from LA area. So I'm really trying to hit several communities, say, hey, I'm here, don't forget about me, and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I understand completely. We wanted you to come on the show today and tell everyone what it is about you that makes you a Titan.
Can you define Titan, please?
You got to define it. These are the qualities that make you the badass that you are.
It can be
so
any
Titan.
Like
what
our
is a Titan?
interview was basically what defined him as a Titan was he was a survivor, right?
I would say I'm a survivor and a thriver. I've gone through a lot of crap in my life. I'd say I went through I got married really young as as young as 19 because I got pregnant when I was 18, my first child. And I ended up having 2 children with this man who ended up beating me, and he was a misogynist, and that was a wreck. And then I was like a single dad, and for a majority of my kids' life. And then I got married again, and that was a train wreck, and that was on the show Little Women LA. I got married and divorced. The last scene was like the sheriff's dragging him out of my house. And then I got pregnant with a really good friend of mine really shortly after, and then she passed away during COVID. And then recently, about a little over 6 months ago, we broke up. And I was working on myself, and I ended up back in California. So helping others keep going. And I'm working on several projects. And, all you can do is, I think when I'm in service and helping others, I feel better. And I feel like,
It
I don't know,
fulfills purpose.
I feel like I have a lot of purpose. And I feel like I can give someone, experience, strength, and hope, because I've gone through hell and back, and I give them examples throughout. I mean, and I forgot to mention, like, throughout all that other stuff, during the subprime market crash in 2008, I picked up drinking, and I drank for a period of like almost 2.5 years. And it got really bad. And I've been sober, or not one drop without of alcohol, since January 4th, 2010. So I'm a recovery coach.
Driver, then Christy's your gal.
Yeah. So because I'm like naturally drunk and high.
All the time without alcohol?
Without alcohol. So I don't eat that shit. So yeah. So
you kind of glossed over your loss. And I kind of want to draw attention to it because it was a pretty significant part of your life. And I think you kind of, if you can kind of elaborate on it, because you did gloss over, you literally like talked right over it. And I was like,
well, it's really hard to talk about it.
No. I mean, but this is what a lot of people experience. I mean, you actually gave birth to a live birth. I mean, I had two miscarriages. So I didn't even have a live baby, at that point in time. And you had the time to bond with your child before losing her.
I had 2 weeks with her. She had a genetic disorder. She had both dwarfisms, and her lungs were just not developed. Like the bottom of her lungs didn't even have the bones. And so we were hoping that they would grow while she was in the ICU. They gave her all kinds of different things, steroids, but she was on pain medicine the whole time because she was in pain. And she took out her tube a couple times, or tried to.
Yeah.
She was strong. And so they had to end up putting her like arms, and she hated that. She hated every moment. So 2 weeks with her, and her lungs kept on collapsing. And they looked at me and they're like, "Shh, this is not a quality of life for her." So we ended up taking her off life support. She passed away on my chest.
That is an impossible decision to make.
Yeah,
that's so heartbreaking. You mentioned both kinds of dwarfisms, and I'm not familiar with what those are exactly.
So I have a dwarfism called achondroplasia. It's the most common type of dwarfism. And then my significant other at the time, he had something called hypochondroplasia. Which is similar to achondroplasia. When two dwarf people that have dwarfism mate, there is a 25% chance of an average sized child, a 50% chance of 25% average, 50% little, and then 25%. If it's a double dominant, it's death. If it's a double zygote, which is two different dwarfisms, there is a chance of it surviving, but it's slim to none. And so what happened was I had a CBS test, and that's when they take a piece of placenta at 3 months. But it went to lab and it died. But I had so much of it, I donated part of it to a local university. They took it out of the university and sent it to the lab. But by this time, I was 5 months when we got the second test, and I can feel her movement. And they told me that her life expectancy won't be very well, but I couldn't terminate because I felt her in my stomach.
That is so tough. That is so tough. I don't know what to say other than
Okay.
that's tough and that sucks.
Yeah. But, you know, surrounding yourself with people that can support you through it, that you can talk about it, and, you know, it gives you some relief to some degree. And not everybody goes through a miscarriage or losing a child, but, you know, being able to talk about it with people that understand and have that support system, I think, is incredibly important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many silver linings, like, honestly.
This is what I love about you. It's a positive girl. I love it.
I would say it helps me become a more patient person. I wasn't always patient. I mean, I still have that mentality, like, I want Oompa Loompa now. I want Oompa Loompa now. Like, I'm like that person. But I'm a little more laid back, I'd say. It's really kind of chilled me out.
Yeah. Well, we always say we want things to happen now. The truth is, if it's not the right time, it will happen in its right time. That time frame that we want it to happen in isn't always realistic. And if it doesn't happen, there's a reason it's not happening right now, but it does happen. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's not ready to be done.
Yeah. Or maybe she was just too strong for this earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I fully get it. It's all the things that happen in our lives happen for a reason. Sometimes that reason is because you're dumb and you make terrible choices, but sometimes it's going to be there to grow you into the person you need to be. The problem is that when we ask for these big, amazing things in our lives, we are signing up for terrible experiences, because in order to get there, we have to go through and grow through all of these different things. And while we're doing it, and it sucks, and you get there and you're like, man, that was impossible. And they're like, well, I mean, didn't you ask for this? I didn't realize it was going to be so hard. It's like, you think people get up there because it's easy?
Yeah, no, dude.
No, not at all.
It's fucking hard. Every single step, you know? But you know what's great is you get to, like, I got to meet you, and I remember going to Mobile and meeting Christy, and it was actually, we went and picked her up at the airport. Do you want to tell them the airport story? Fucking hysterical.
I thought one of my mentors, Dan, and his wife, Penny, was picking me up. I was talking, but I couldn't really hear who was on the phone. I thought it was Dan. I thought it was Pam. Penny. Is it Penny, right?
Penny, yeah.
Penny. But I wasn't sure, and I was like, okay. And then I hear, oh, we're right out in, you know, we're looking for you. I'm like, oh, they're never gonna find me. So I stood out right after I got out of the airport, and I stood right in the middle of the road, and I went like this, and and then out comes this like white dude with this big like beard and this Asian lady, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just jump in these strangers' cars.
So funny. I'm like, you just jump into any car? Like, seriously? Yeah. Oh my God. It was hysterical. It was like, and she's talking, well, she picked up the phone too. And now, mind you, I got her phone number from Dan, and I was like, hey, we're at the airport, but I don't have her phone number. And so he texted it to me, and I called Christy, and she was getting off the plane, and
I didn't know you were you though. I thought you were his wife.
I know. But you answered your phone and we're seeing there going, hey, we're trying to find you. Where are you? Meanwhile, we have security pissed at us because we stopped to pick her up.
How
right?
dare you? You just
I
got to
know.
roll and go.
Right. Oh my God. It was insane. So it was a whole it was a disaster trying to find. It was fucking funny though.
My big mouth. I was like,
she's like standing out there, waving her hands, doing jumping.
Then the guy's like, I'm going to give them a ticket. And I said, excuse me, you're going to give them a ticket? I'm a little person. I need help getting into a car. And he's like, they could have pulled over. And I said, there's no one around. Why do they need to pull over?
Yeah. Well, there was actually no space to pull over was the problem. Everybody was lined up. So we were just going to quickly do a stop and grab you and go.
It was so quick.
It looked a little bit like a kidnapping too, if you look at
exactly.
Perspective.
Exactly. And didn't we like make a joke about like anybody can pick me up and put me in a trunk?
Yeah. Well, because Dan said at one dinner, he was explaining like, what guys don't think about certain things. And Penny, his wife, goes grocery shopping and she looks around and make sure the car's clear before, she loads the car and then looks again before she gets in. And so Dan didn't realize this and was like, why do you do that? And I mean, Christy even brought up the fact that, well, I mean, why wouldn't you? Because you literally can get kidnapped. And she's so small that literally you could pick her up like a football, haul ass, and she's gone. You just don't see her anymore.
That's one of the reasons I eat cake right there.
What?
That's
cake?
why I eat cake. I want to be too big to kidnap. I don't need I don't need to be in shape. I want to like go, who should I get? Should I get Travis or should I get this other person? Be like, oh, definitely not that guy. He looks like that's too much effort. We ain't got time for that.
So I got to ask you then, Christy, like we talked about the different types of dwarfism, right? How many different types are there?
Over 300 types. There's about 600,000 in the whole world, and there's about I think 30,000 in the United States.
Wow. Okay. So
there's more albinos than little people.
What? Really? There's more albinos than there are people with dwarfism? Really?
Yeah.
And then what do you like? What's the politically correct way? And I know everybody's probably, going to ask this question. What's politically correct or courteous?
Hi, what's your name?
Well, no, I know. I obviously I did that, but
little person, dwarf. I'm fine with some little people are not okay with dwarfs. Some little people are not okay with short stature. I say a lot of people doesn't matter if you're tall, small, whatever. Some people just have chips on their shoulder. Just never say the M word and you're good. That's what I say.
Okay. Yeah, I always say I'm height challenged. I don't have a problem.
Height challenged. Yeah, fun size.
Yeah.
Fun size. That's my favorite.
Fun size.
Yes.
Fun size.
Yes. We're like, I'm short. I'm like, you're fun sized.
How tall are you? Fun size.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. Now, so one of the things I really wanted to discuss was like things that you have to go through and the challenges you face on average on a daily basis, right? What do you think is your biggest challenge on a daily basis?
Reaching stuff.
Okay.
Having to use a stool everywhere I go.
Girl, I have to use a stool in my own kitchen.
Okay, wait. Climbing. You saw me climb. Non-stop.
Yes. Yeah. And everything isn't necessarily made for somebody of your height, right? I mean, I'm short, but I still can reach things that you typically can't. Now,
so like climbing on chairs.
Right.
Everything, pretty much.
Right. So one of the things, and Christy was something I never thought about because I've always considered myself short. And then I meet Christy right? And she's this bundle of energy, and you're like, I treat her like I would anybody else. And we actually went to the bathroom together when we were in Mobile, and things that I don't think about, I take for granted. It was an interesting experience for me. It was eye-opening, truthfully.
Mhm.
And I remember we're sitting there talking like girls do in the bathroom, you know. But when we come out, I had washed my hands and she was coming out. And I think Mobile was still kind of ass backwards in the way that they didn't have things for like the handicap. The doors weren't accessible. There were, you know, certain things that they didn't have yet. So they had these hand pumps that were way the fuck back there. Well, I didn't even consider that. And she was like, hey, would you mind pumping soap it, you know, in your hands and handing it to me? And meanwhile, the sinks are so high.
I'm like, and can you turn on the water?
Yeah, turn on the water. And then she could only wash one hand at a time. And I just thought, oh my God, what a pain in the ass, right? Not only that, the paper towel dispenser is even high for me. She can't even reach that.
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting here going, this is something like just to go pee, for instance. There's all these challenges that she has to face just to go pee, right? And the toilet, even the toilets are high. So she has to climb on top of the toilet to go.
I usually stand on top of the toilet because I don't want to get germs.
Yes.
And I like squat.
Yeah. But
You still
even
gotta
though
climb up
you
there.
have to get up there, right?
Oh, I'm like this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like,
This
I'm
this
like
is
this.
R-rated, Christy, not X-rated. Okay.
this is like this. I'm like this. And I'm like,
If you're listening to this right now and not watching the video, you are completely missing out by
You're
not watching
missing
the
the
video.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it was an interesting experience for me because, you know, we always think, oh yeah, we have issues. Like I consider myself height challenge. Holy fuck, not even close to you. Like I got nothing to bitch about, girl, you know? And it was really eye-opening to see things from your perspective. And it was great. It was one of those things in life where, you know, you feel comfortable with yourself. And then next thing you know, you see somebody struggling with things and you're like, fucking hell, I got nothing to complain about. Shut your face and, you know, be grateful. Right.
I feel the same way. I see people like suffer in other parts of their life. Like if they don't have legs, and I think, oh my God, their arms must be so tired from doing this all day. You know, there's always that person other than yourself that has it way worse than you or more challenged than you and have a different ability.
Right.
And
yeah.
That's so true. Most of us have something
Most of us
can't
have
do, that we suck at, or whatever. But most of them, for vast majority of people, it's just unseen. It's a huge problem. We talked to Rob Robinson about PTSD. That's an unseen challenge that people don't know. You can't just tell by looking. Some people
silent. I talk on that about silent disabilities, and I'll tell you what, being a little person is not my worst disability.
What's your worst disability?
Probably having dyslexia.
Is this a bigger challenge than being a little person?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I have to work harder at it. It doesn't make me stupid. Just, you know, Einstein was dyslexic. I just process things differently. Yeah.
There's I think Malcolm Gladwell talks about this in Outliers.
I think my asthma. I think my asthma is worse than being a dwarfism because I have to have medicine to survive. I don't have an antidote for being a little person. So,
except for just being badass, right? I think Malcolm Gladwell was talking about this in Outliers. There's these CEOs of these big, amazing companies, and one thing that they all had in common is they were dyslexic. So, in order to solve all the things that you have to do in regular society, they had to work so much harder at it and find different ways to solve the same problems. And because it was such a complex solution, it caused them to grow in a lot of different areas. Do you feel like that same thing for you?
Yes, everything has to be hands-on for me. When someone just gives me something, I'm like, oh shit. But if I'm shown once, I'm like, got it.
Hmm. Yeah. So you do process things differently. And you know what? It's just because you have dyslexia, like people consider that, a disadvantage. But the truth is,
It's
it
not.
comes back as well, because you
Yeah,
process things differently, you see things that other people
exactly.
can't see. So,
Exactly.
everything has its pros and cons, and it's not, not really considered a disadvantage. It's just different.
Yeah, it takes longer. That's what I say. Just
Yeah.
a little longer, just a different way of learning. So my daughter has auditory and visual processing disorder, and but she has like 140 IQ. So she's like borderline genius. And so that was a challenge trying to teach her how to read. Because I know how to read good. That my dyslexia didn't affect my reading. It affects like my spelling and like auditory processing. And so I did I someone told me about graphic novels for her, and so I started buying her graphic novels because you could buy every single book ever written in a graphic novel. And so I started getting her every single book in a graphic novel. Now she just reads any book and she's a bookworm. So, you just have to find your niche and how you learn
Mhm.
and just run with it because everyone's different.
So you have a son and a daughter, correct?
Yes, my
Okay.
my son's an architect. He lives in Summerlin and he's married. Yes.
So average size or little person size?
They're both little.
Okay.
They're both little. My son's a good head taller than me, though.
Was your ex-husband also then a little person?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, interesting then. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so both my husbands were. And then my ex-fiance was. I'm never dating another little person ever fucking again. Ever. Like, it's not fucking happening. They all have, yeah, no, I'm not going to say it, but I, Napoleon complexes.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I just can't. I just know. Even my son, I love him to death, but he's an asshole.
Oh.
It's like they have this. I think the men have it harder than the women because women can be cute. Men have to have this hard ass exterior, and they have like this brick wall. Like, I am a macho man all the fucking time, and I love my son to pieces, and he's one tough son of a bitch because he moved out of the house by 17. He was an architect by 22, and now he's 25, and he's so successful. He's working for one of the best companies there is in architect world, and I'm just so proud of him. But he had to be a tough motherfucker to do it.
Yeah, well, I think too, I mean, when you're a little person and you're trying to go into this world of, normal sized people, what we
Land of
consider
giants.
Average.
Yeah.
We call it
Average people.
What
Okay.
is normal?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not, right? But
Carol's
think about
definitely not.
what the
Mhm.
I definitely am not. It's a challenge because he has to be seen. So it's almost like you have to just be loud and aggressive, to be seen, because people are just going to kind of like gloss right over you and pass you by because you're just not really easily seen. So I bet you had to put that face on in order to be seen.
He actually won a lawsuit in his first college. He had to transfer out of because he did a lawsuit and he won because they was discriminated over him.
Yeah.
So he went from one university to another because of that discrimination.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And was
That's
that,
my son. He fought and won it.
yeah, no, of course. But isn't that sad? Because probably in this day and age, you would not have that type of discrimination. People are much more aware.
Exactly. But I'm glad he opened his mouth for future, people that might need assistance, whether they're in a wheelchair or a short statured or have some type of other ability that they have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, and your daughter, what does your daughter do?
She's my smart one. Can you believe it? She has a higher IQ than him. But she does not. I don't know. She's engaged at 22 to a 30-something-year-old, and she's his bookkeeper. So you have to let them make their own mistakes,
Sure.
or prove me wrong. I might be totally wrong, and I might see it a totally different way. And he's a nice guy. He's really nice. Am I supposed to like who she dates? Probably not. I'm both mom and dad to her. So
nice is unremarkable. That's what nice means.
Yeah, I'm
unremarkable, not worth remembering.
I try to keep my mouth shut, composed. It's so hard.
Well, and it's hard too when it's your daughter, right? You don't want her walking in your shoes and making the same mistakes. You want her to have a better path. So you're kind of watching this train wreck happening, going, fuck.
You know what her solution was to that?
What?
Don't worry, Mom. I'm not going to really get married. I'm doing the vows of the heart. Don't you know it's the new thing? So you have a ceremony, but you don't do it on paper. I'm like, Autumn, don't you know if you live with someone for so long, you're still considered married? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mom, why you got to make up lies to ruin her life?
Yes. I'm just like,
you're protecting her, and hopefully, eventually it'll seep through.
Yes.
It'll make sense to her. But right
now she's like, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, wow. Okay. 22 hours.
Let me make my mistakes, Mom. I'm like, okay.
Except for when they're so big that you don't want her to make big mistakes that she can't recover from.
She's like, I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm not doing drugs. That was a little burn. Okay. And then
the
she's
bare
like,
minimum.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
So don't. And I was like, okay.
You're like, there's way more ways to fuck up your life than drugs and alcohol.
Yes. And I told her, I said, you get pregnant? Are you sure?
Pregnancy, by the way, will link them and bond them forever. So that's another thing that's like, please just be careful right now. You're young. You have your life ahead of you, and make good choices.
I know. And he has 3 kids already. So I'm like,
oh my dear Lord.
Look, there's a lot of ways to have a great time in the bedroom that cannot result in pregnancy.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't want to tell your kid that, right?
No. I'm okay with having all that conversation with her. I was always very open and honest with my kids. They hated it, but I had to be both mom and dad. I had no choice. And I homeschooled her in high school. So it was like,
yeah.
So
I've seen you guys talk. You guys have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
Just as much as she drives you crazy. I know.
She has to drive you crazy. Otherwise, you wouldn't have kicked her out of the house and said, go be an adult.
She's such a turd. So like the last time I visit her, she stole my Birkenstocks, but I stole 2 pairs of her jeans.
What?
You do know that when this airs, she'll now know that you stole those jeans, even though you told me she'll never know because
she'll never watch this. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
She's
all right,
too lazy.
if you're a friend of Christy's daughter, you're now in the circle of trust. You can't tell.
You can't say anything.
I stole her jeans. 2 pairs.
Oh, but explain why you had to steal her jeans. Because you went through surgery.
Oh,
and you
I
lost weight.
had tummy tuck. And
Yeah.
all my other clothes are big on me. And I'm like, she had them to put in storage. Jeans only are in style for 2 years. And then they go out of style.
Rationale in this.
What?
Like, I love your
Yeah.
rationale in this.
And so I'm like, she's never going to freaking probably ever wear these jeans. They're going to go in storage. And then she's going to end up just giving it away. She'll never know.
Your thievery is very rational.
It's not thievery when you raise those kids and you pay for everything. So
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's the trump card. When you pull the trump card out, you just can't say anything.
I don't know. When my daughter comes to visit, she came one time and she's in the kitchen and she's making a bunch of noise. I swear to you, she had a shopping cart going through my kitchen, loading up to take stuff back to her house. And I'm like, do you want to be like a little less belligerent about it? Like, do you need money for groceries? Oh no, Dad, I'm good. I got all this stuff.
It's my own shopping. It's you've got everything I need here. I'm just gonna shop at mom and dad's.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I started asking around, and apparently it happens to everybody. Everybody.
My kids don't do that to me, thank God. So
Are they anywhere near you?
no, not really.
Well, it's not like they're going to load up mom's groceries and fly back across country where they live.
No, I mean they live in the same state. It's just a bit far with traffic. So
Yeah. My daughter's like an hour down the road. She's like, what? She's just like completely loading up like it's a normal thing. And I'm just like, well, I don't really care.
She's
that
like,
much.
ooh, I need some fig jam. Ooh, fig jam.
So
Well,
what is it like being an actress? That's something I don't have any kind of knowledge and insight into. Does it
Kind of
fun?
just
Does
fell
it suck?
into it. I kind of just fell into it. I wanted to be a doctor, but then I got knocked up. So then that stopped. And I already lived in Burbank, California. Didn't suck. I love you. If you watch this, Trenton, I love you. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I would have been a radiologist, but it's fine. I decided to go into acting because it was easy. I lived in Burbank, California, which is like the center of all the acting, and I just like did commercials, this, that, and then you can't just be an actor and that's it in LA. You have to have like many jobs. So I went to the real estate industry also and did like investments and loan officer, and then the subprime market crashed when I had a whole bunch of stuff that I was doing, like flipping, investing in other people's money, and it just made me go into a loop of depression, and I drowned myself in alcohol for a couple of years, and then I lost everything, my house, my kids, my everything was lost, my everything. And then once I realized that like I had a problem, I went to rehab, but I wasn't done yet. And then a few months later, I just finally got on my knees and I said, God, can you please take this obsession away from me? I don't want it anymore. And it was like this craziness over me, and I didn't want to drink anymore. And then within 30 days, like I got pretty much everything back. It was insane how that happened. I think you just have to give it to the universe. When you're ready, you're ready.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty fortunate.
How did you? Yeah. So how did the whole thing with like Little Women of LA come up?
Well, a bunch of friends, we got together and they're like, we should do a pilot. And I was like, I just got off a pilot and I don't want to do another pilot, like whatever. And they're like, no, let's just do a sloppy one. It'll be so much fun. It'll be about little people. I was like, okay. So we did it in like one of my friend's house with a small like handheld, and we submitted it to like a bunch of networks, and like 9 networks bid it on us. We were like, oh my God. And Like, right. I thought, it's going to be one season. This is going to be stupid. No one's going to like it. It's going to be like a bust. And then like 9 seasons went by. It was not a bust. Yeah.
And what ended the season? Like, how did the whole show end up like finalized?
Done.
Yeah.
It was a hot mess at the end. Lifetime was going through a lot of changes. Disney just bought them out because Disney bought out A&E, and A&E owns Lifetime. And so it was like everything was a hot mess. I honestly think because Disney was so focused on Star Wars is when they were doing a lot of pulling from different shows so they can keep their budget. I don't know. That was my theory. It might be a wrong theory. I do not know. It also was like the last season, the person that was directing was from Housewives, no, not Housewives, Kardashians, and she botched the season bad.
In terms of like direction for the show to
direction, the editing was bad. They kept on changing the days. No one knew what day to watch it. It was just bad. We had bad views. It was just a hot mess. And so I think that's what contributed. There was a lot of things that contribute. Also, to go that long on a show, on a reality show, is like ancient. It's like no one does that. I mean, who gets married and divorced in one fucking show?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
a lot of shows do that, but it's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was fun.
So did you know in season 9 that was going to be your last season?
No, so we did 8 seasons in the United States, 1 in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then so we started season 9 in LA, but in New York too, but they shelved it because it was like the whole baby thing, and I think it was just too heavy to air.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
did season 9 never make airing then?
Season, it would have been season 10 of Little Women. Well, so I did 9 seasons, so 8 seasons in United States, 1 in Puerto Rico, and then so it was really 8 seasons in LA, and then we started filming 9, and I probably went through 5 episodes. I would probably be shelved, probably 5, at least 5 episodes they shelved, and it was like the chronicalization of Violet.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually shocked they didn't air it because I think people could relate to it, like, and especially in this day and age where everybody does something based on emotion or feeling, like,
Yeah,
if you want to do it on anger, you could, show something that enrages people, right? And get people.
I really think it was like the lack of budget, but I also think I didn't want to film anymore. When she passed, I was like,
you were done.
I was done.
Yeah.
As well you should be. Like,
I was just done.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do it anymore.
That was
it.
I got invited on to speak at like a disciplinary board for in the military, and he got called off the road. His wife was threatening to kill herself, like sending pictures like her holding a gun to her head, horrific things. And this was months after the incident. They brought me in. I was telling him like that's the guy you want. That's the guy you would pick always to be in your crew. Like, this is the guy. And they're like, yeah, but it's been like 6 months. Like, why isn't he back together? I was like, look, I'm counseling people outside here that are talking about PTSD that they've had from September 11th, 2001. At the time, it was like 19 years ago. I was like, how long does it take to heal from this stuff? I don't know. But you can't sit here and tell me that you're going to kick this guy out of the military for something trauma that happened to him. Like, there's no healing time. There's no magic formula. And you well within your right to be done after such a tragic thing that happened in your life. There's no You know, there's no magic way that it does this. There's no right way
Yeah.
to do life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just completely done. They even asked me recently, they're like, you want to try it again? I'm like,
So you think you're done with all those reality shows? Is that the deal?
it would have to be the right one, Carol.
The right one for relationships, the right one for projects. I know. I know.
The
No,
right
and I would
one's
have to
got to
have-
have you and Carol in it.
Yes. And you know what, too? I would have to be creator, like a part creator. I would have to be producing it. I would have to have my hand in the creative. I am the editing because I don't want what happened to me to happen to me again.
So you didn't have any of that in the previous show, I'm guessing.
No,
Okay.
so they can like voice manipulate, they can manipulate every scene. So with cutting, technology is crazy.
Yeah.
So there was sometimes I'm like, I didn't say that. Like there was so many times I
Yeah,
said,
they cherry pick the little slice that's going to make it sound terrible.
Well, they like
Yeah.
controversy, by the way. So they're going to pick those little bits that can create controversy views.
I learned really quick when I'm not filming to keep my mouth shut or take my mic pop and unplug it. So they don't have any
Access
verbiage.
to that verbiage. Yeah.
Yeah, straight
Because there was
comments.
one time I can remember saying something in the bathroom and then I heard it. Mhm.
They use the content from the bathroom.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my God. That's like a violation.
Oh, I know.
Well,
I know.
there, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
It was
I
bad.
mean, I think you can be an executive producer so you can have some access and control. But
Yeah.
I don't know, editing, you could always hire an editor that you trust.
Not just editing. I just would want to know the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of editors, they're so there for the quick buck. And a lot of them, I've talked to plenty of them. They're like, we know when we're editing, we're destroying their lives.
Oh, wow. They know that? That's a horror. Are they doing it intentionally or is it because that's what the studio wants?
They're doing it because that's what the studio wants and that's their living.
Yeah.
Well, and people keep voting with what they're watching, right? So the crazier it is, the more people tune in, and that's what they want. That's what they get, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And people love, I mean, if you have haters, you're famous. Just
Wow.
if you don't have haters, you're not famous.
We got this ass backwards, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
We're not.
fucking
I'm
awful.
not famous enough because I don't have enough haters. I only have 3.
Who
I don't know how many haters.
who are they?
I know one for sure. There's one that I know of. Well, no, I know 2 for sure. I have at least 3. I guess I have to get more if I want to be famous. I don't know.
Jeez.
I always if it's really bad like on my feed, I just delete them. But if it's like something I can correct, I like to say if you have nothing nice to say, please don't say it at all, or I will end up deleting you.
Mhm.
Or if they say something like that's false, I'll correct them and say, actually, that's not true. This is what's going on. Blah 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 blah. And then if they do it again, I'll just delete, block.
Delete.
Block 'em.
No more. Can't have it.
Yeah. But I always think it's good to give people like one chance to educate them, unless they're being disgusting. So that
Disgusting.
some people are just really naive.
Yeah. If they're offensive, delete them. If they're naive, you can educate them.
Yeah, exactly. So you
Yes,
have to
they're
like differentiate.
If they're receptive, because
Yeah.
Exactly.
even in educating, they can be unreceptive.
Oh yeah, totally.
So if you are naive and you're on Christy's feed, if you start with the words, I don't really understand this, it'll go a long way and you're not getting booted off of Christy's channel.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But if
Well-
you say something derogatory purposely, and I know it,
Oh, God, that's my favorite. That's my favorite stuff. Like on a random thread somewhere, I posted something. They were arguing about geography, something so stupid and benign that has no real value. And so I put, comments on there, and someone's like, they came back and said all these nasty things. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, don't hate me for this. Get to know me as a person and then really hate me for who I am. And that was it. Like, don't like
I love
one
that.
interaction. Like, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. You heard part of it or whatever the thing was. Like, don't hate me for this. Hate me for who I really am as a person, please.
Well, and you know what blows my mind is that you can draw that conclusion while writing instead of meeting somebody face to face and really getting to know them. Mm-hmm. Like, how can you draw that conclusion based on something that you messaged on this chat? I mean,
there's no context, there's no body language, there's no voice inflection, there's no obvious sarcasm face. Like, exactly. You can't derive any of that stuff. Yeah. It's hilarious.
I don't understand people, but what would you say that is your best and worst experience for actually being on the show? What has it taught you, your best and worst?
I don't know if I have a best. I have a funny.
Okay, well that's fine.
I taught Autumn sex ed long before I had to teach her on the show, but they wanted me to teach her where they can show it all around the world, even in China or in any Asian culture. And so I had to use fruits and vegetables for sex ed, and like I used an eggplant and I cut it in half.
Oh, don't do that.
And then I scooped it, and then I put some cottage cheese in it, and I said that's gonorrhea. And I was like, then I opened it up like an avocado, and there's brown spots, and I was like, oh look, that's a wart. And like I was just like trying to like
make fun of it.
And teach her, and she's like, she looked at me and goes, because we're doing this on the show, you owe me. You owe me. I think we ended up shopping like a lot. And I was like, they really want the segment. She's like,
well, and to apply it so it can be shown everywhere is difficult because they each have their own limits and rules and regulations of what they'll televise, right?
Yeah, so it was very strategically taught. So it was weird. I'll try to pull it up on YouTube or something.
That's fine. Okay. And then say the worst experience from the show.
Ooh, when Tara threw a glass, it was like, those water glasses with the hollow bottom and they're glass, they're like freaking 5 pounds. She threw one at my head and I got this egg. I had a hat on, but a cowboy hat, and they're super thin. I got this egg right here on this side of my head. So big. I had to be rushed to Cedars-Sinai Hospital, which is one of the best in LA. And I had a mass concussion with 2 brain contusions.
Wait, why did he throw the glass at you?
Because the production egged the fight on.
Oh, they wanted you guys to have a disagreement so they could film it?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and she was really mad anyways. They're like, throw some water in her. So like that, and then she took a whole glass, and I had a plastic cup. So I think it was planned a little.
Yeah.
Why would I have a plastic cup and then she have a glass, like a fucking mug, not even a glass, a mug,
like a quart-sized glass mug,
like a freaking with the big glass, the big thick ones that are really heavy, like where you drink beer out of.
Like a beer sign. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And she fucking chucked it at my head. So, the DA came and wanted me to file charges, and it was insane. And she just had a baby, and she was looking at 9 months in prison. And I ended up dropping the charges.
Wow. Okay. Holy
I
crap.
just thought it wasn't fair to that baby
Yeah. Yeah.
because her mom's an
That's
asshole.
hard. That's a hard decision. I don't know what I would
Yeah.
have done in that situation.
Uh-huh.
I've had people that have wronged me, and like immediately I'm like, nope, fuck this. Hold accountability, this, that, and the other. And there's sometimes people wrong me, and like, you know what? Just gonna let it
Meh.
go.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
It depends on how severe it is, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
sure, and if they have intention to do real harm, that's when you cut them out. If it was an accident, of course, show grace because
No, it was an accident. And then she was always mean to me on the show. It was just like, that show always was against me because I don't kiss people's butts. I don't drink. They drink, they kiss each other's ass, and I'm like, no. So
you were the outsider.
I was the outsider. And through this whole experience, I still was motivational speaking. So I was just building it gave me a platform to do what I love, which is speak.
Right. And what do you speak about?
Majority of time it's usually on disability, silent and physical. But like when we're in that's what I was originally going to do in mobile, but then I ended up doing it on inclusion, which I just married it together. Because Dan asked me to do it the night before. So that's why I didn't go out with everybody. I stayed in my room and did my stuff.
Did your homework.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to succeed, you got to do the work. And sometimes that means you don't.
That was a good one. And I got people to cry, right?
Oh, you did. You did get people to cry. It was moving for sure.
Yeah.
If you can get people to cry, people to laugh, and a couple people to hate you, you did a good job.
You got to have all three.
No, one person came up to me and said something and then apologized later.
Oh, God.
That's interesting. That's
Huh.
interesting. They were boiled over enough that they had to say something and then realized shortly thereafter that they completely fucked it up. Yeah.
His wife told him to apologize to me.
Oh, gee.
Mhm.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Can you share?
Sorry if you're watching.
Well,
what did
can
they
you
say?
share
What did they
what
say
you
that
said?
was so messed up?
Exactly.
Because remember when I talked about inclusion? Inclusion should be pretty much for every single human being. We just went through a damn pandemic. If you don't have a mental illness, then there's something then you're lying, because we all went just through the most stressful times of a fucking United States ever. Like everything that's going on right now, we're going through war, we're going through pandemics, not just one, a couple. I mean, inflation, job scarcity, everything. The nutrients in our food is degrading. Our oceans are dying. Like just so much stress everybody has. If you say that you don't have stress and you're not panicked and you don't have any issues, then you liar. So, inclusion should be for everybody. It shouldn't be like one specific group. Yeah. I get that everybody should have a chance in things, but you know what? Being in America, you have the chance. If you're on the spectrum, we give you that chance. You just got to take it. And I don't want people to look at me as different. I want people to go, she's one badass bitch.
Right. So what was it that he said that caused?
He was like, my wife talks on inclusion and it has to be in a small thing and it has to be specific about, it was something about women in the army or something like that. And I guess he went and told his wife how I spoke on it and how everybody should feel included and not just people in inclusion. Like everybody should have the same resources if they ask for them. I think if they need it, just because you can't see their disability doesn't mean they don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
And so then and so I guess he told her all of that, and she's like, oh my God, she's right. You need to apologize to her.
Okay.
Yeah, we come across this. I did a lot of work in the nonprofit world, hosting another show, the Nonprofit Architect Podcast, and I had people that would get mad because I wasn't highlighting certain different nonprofits because it wasn't as big of a need as the other one or whatever else. I was like, there's 1.5 million nonprofits in the U.S. Like, everyone has a different focus for a different reason, and they told me, like, you have to find it that it doesn't exclude people, exclude this, exclude that. I was like, every nonprofit is exclusive. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, if I start a nonprofit to help single fathers get their rights, I'm obviously not giving a shit about single moms, right? There's nonprofits dedicated to that, and this one's for single. Well, yeah, but you can't really do that. I told him, I was like, I went back and forth with him a little bit, and I was like, I tell you what, man, if you want to do the research and you find out which one meets your criteria, I'm happy to do so. I never heard another word from him. As long as he didn't have to do the work, it was going to be okay.
Oh yeah, he wants you to chase the ball.
Yeah,
play.
I'm not your monkey. I'm not here to dance for you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah.
Everything. He wants me to do everything. I don't know this guy. Random internet comment. I was highlighting. Highlighting like one a day for Thanksgiving. That's one of my gift packs as I promote nonprofits. Right. He's like, oh, you gotta make sure you're promoting the right ones. What are the right ones, man? I'm happy to listen. Which are the right ones?
My God.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Have you ever gotten a hard time, Christy, for helping out one nonprofit and another one?
Over another.
I think I've worked for like 20 some nonprofits, so I have a big nonprofit background. No, but I would say some nonprofits are not so honest.
Yep, that's true. That's true. It's almost impossible, nearly impossible, to evaluate how good a nonprofit is doing. You've got like Charity Navigator and a Guide Star, this, that, and the other. It tells you where the money goes.
No, but when you're in it and you see the numbers, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't tell you how effective they are. Doesn't tell you if they're good at anything. Doesn't tell you if they're using the money effectively. Doesn't
and you
tell
see
if
where the money is.
People well.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell you any of that stuff.
It's a tough one. That's a tough one. But there are nonprofits out there that are for the people, and they give so much, and they really do their job well. But there are some out there you're like, oh, you should not have this. You should not have a nonprofit. You're for profit. You're not for a nonprofit.
Exactly. Most of them that classify themselves as nonprofit, I'm not going to say most of them, but some of them.
A lot.
Classify them for nonprofit are not actually nonprofits, and they actually because you are a nonprofit. By the way, they make a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
but
a lot.
The way they use it, it also is not on the up and up.
Also, the giveaway, the government gives so many grants, and so much companies give so much away to nonprofits.
Right.
And crazy. So when you see all of this coming in.
Yeah, it just now comes down to the person running it. Are they of integrity or not? And that's the problem, right? Is who is actually a good, or which is actually a good non-for-profit versus.
But I get what they have to keep their lights on, and they have certain expenses, but a majority of them, I'd say, overspend, and their numbers are completely off.
Right. They overspend into their own pockets, you mean, for salary?
I didn't say that.
How much is a good salary for someone in nonprofit work?
It matters what you do.
It matters what you do. So what about Delta Dental? Delta Dental is billed as a nonprofit. They charge for everything.
I don't know anything about Delta Dental, but I know
CEO made
the nonprofits I've worked for.
Sorry, how much did that How much does
27
this
million. It's an insurance company, right? People don't associate that with altruism. Through 2015, the NFL was a nonprofit, and there's billions of dollars going in and out of everything that they do, right?
Yep.
So
Because
what
they're
is
tax
or
less.
isn't, and what rules should or shouldn't, or how much can or couldn't people make? Because don't
Right.
people nonprofits deserve to make a living as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Chewy?
I was just going to say, what is going on down there? Because you look down and I see your hand moving. I don't want to know what you're doing.
I'm at Julie's house, so I've got puppies that came to visit me while I was recording. Huh, Chewy? Huh?
What kind of, I can't see face.
I don't know. He looks
Oh.
like a lab, and there's another lab in the house, too.
Oh, okay.
Come to say hello.
Oh, cute. Didn't bark or anything, but came in for some love.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. As long as you don't bark at me, I'm willing to give you some love. I gotta hear some craziness, Christy. Tell me one of the craziest experiences of your life. Does it get inside the show, outside the show, any part of your life, young, old, doesn't matter. Like, hold on for this wild ride.
This is pre YouTube, pre photos and videos on phone.
Okay.
Those are the best ones. No evidence.
Right.
My 24th birthday, I had some girls come out of the woodwork to take me out on my birthday. We called it the birthday week. And we ended up going out in Hollywood. Bunch of little people, women. I don't understand it. I don't know what my thing was. And we thought we were the shit. We looked good. We were just like to the hilt. And my friend goes, I have this perfect club for us. It's an 80s club and it will be so much fun. And we're like, okay, let's go. So we went down and they're like, it's $30 to get in. Well, $30 back then was like a lot of money for a 24-year-old. Like $30 to get into a club? I mean, think that, I know it sounds like nothing now, but back then we're like, that's the cover charge? It must be a really bitchin', sorry, can you see me? Must be a really bitchin' 80s club. But we couldn't hear the music. And they're like, it's downstairs, it's sub-level. So we're like, okay, cool. So we go and we come down and hear this music and this like people screaming. We're like, what the fuck is going on? We walked into an S&M club. It's like a sex club. We were just standing there going.
And you 3 or 4 hours is all you could handle down there, right?
One of the little people, because she was a partier, she ran off. I was like, no.
She's like, yeah, we're gonna get a rubber ball game, please.
Yeah.
I was like, please, can we go? Can we leave? So we ended up leaving. We got our money back. I don't even know how we did that. And we ended up going to a couple other clubs. We must have forgot to eat, or I did. And we ended up at the Key Club. People are giving me drinks, and I'm drinking and having fun. And there's a big bouncer that picked me up because I was so intoxicated and I was throwing up. So he put me under his shoulder, and I started to throw up. We're outside at this time. And he drops me on a manhole cover.
Oh.
I had an indentation like of an L from LA.
It's hilarious for me because I didn't get hurt. Yeah. Oh my God.
The ambulance came.
Yeah.
Brought me to Cedars-Sinai, Cedars-Sinai. But all the girls came with us. And
do you
we
have
had
like a
to
punch card there? Like if you go there enough, you get like a free visit?
I don't know.
No.
And so yeah. So there was like the girl that kept on running off, she went with some guys. We was like, where is she? We didn't know where she was. Somehow she ended up at the hospital too. So there was like five little people on stretchers in the hospital at Cedars-Sinai.
Every single one of you?
What is the staff? So the staff at Senior Cyanide, like one comes in too. They're like, that's strange. 3, 4, 5.
Like,
what in the
they're
fuck
like,
is going on
what
right
the
now?
fuck? They're multiplying.
So
And the one that ran off, she was one of those little ones, the little dwarfies, you know, the little tiny ones.
Mhm.
She was like a little one. So it was one of those crazy nights. So that was pretty crazy.
and each in there for reasons of their own?
Oh, we were all needed to be on IVs. We overdrank.
So how much, like, because it's usually based on body weight, right?
Right.
So how
You're
many
gonna-
drinks is a
If
good?
I don't know, like back in the day, like if we wanted to drink, we go, okay, make us an adios motherfucker. Let's do this shit.
Oh my God. You remember that? Oh my God. Those adios motherfuckers were dangerous and they were big and really
They taste good. They taste like fruit
I know they
punch.
do, but hold on. Like seriously, I couldn't even polish one without like passing out. Like that's an adios motherfucker, right?
Adios? That's why they call it adios motherfucker.
Oh, and I'll tell you a story. I was working for a high-tech firm at the time, and it was time for my review, right? So my boss takes me out to lunch, and he takes me to the one place where we all go basically to get adios motherfuckers, right? And so what does he do? He's like, it's lunchtime. We're not going really back to work, you know, after your review. Let's just drink. I had one. I ended up like passing out for my review, by the way. This is my review lunch. And he has to haul me back to his car and take me back to the office where I'm in his car, sleeping it off. I puked in the car, right? And I'm sitting here going, oh shit, I guess my review is going to be bad. I mean, he's going to have to figure out how to clean his car from the puke and everything. It was horrible. But yeah, anyways, adios motherfuckers. Bad thing. Tastes delicious. Tastes fucking delicious. Yeah.
This is my first time even hearing of it.
Really?
They're
Never
so
heard of it.
good.
It's a
Never heard of it.
California thing, I think. Yeah.
They're blue and they have like all the pineapple juice. It's so good. So
I'm reading about it right now. It's like 5 alcoholic components, kind of like Long Island iced tea, but
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
That's a
Oh
lot.
my God. It's horrible. It's like it's literally a hangover in a fucking enormous glass.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
look
So
at
are
it. It's got
Irish
vodka,
car
rum,
bombs.
tequila, gin, and blue curacao, plus some other stuff.
Yeah. Blue curacao is what obviously gives it its blue color.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Mhm.
Wait, hey, Christy, you didn't disappoint. Talked about real shit. Talked about, tragic passing of your baby. You talked about wild S&M parties. I think we got our money's worth, Carol. What do you think?
Well, okay. Let's ask one more question. Like
Okay.
the dig deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us something about yourself that possibly people wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know?
Wouldn't know. Like they wouldn't believe. Like something that you're into, something that you believe in, whatever, like something about you that most people wouldn't know. Give us the inside story.
I'm bougie with my water. Really bougie.
Okay, explain bougie.
Like I have to have sparkling water and still water, and it has to be good still water and good sparkling water. Like alkaline water, and then I like my sparkling water. It could be LaCroix, it could be bubbly, it could be anything. But I have to have my bubbly water, and then just finicky. I don't drink, so I think as my water,
We wore out our guest here.
Aww.
She's over napping.
Oh, so
Too much pets. Got too
excitement.
excited.
I think that's like, I don't know.
Like when we were talking with Jessica, she was telling us that she believes in ghosts.
Yeah, we got into ghost hunting stories and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I believe in ghosts, and I believe in aliens.
That's what Jessica said too.
I believe in aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
People probably think I'm weird now, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think about me.
Yeah, what other people think about me is none of my business.
Oh, I like that. Oh my God, I'm gonna steal that from you. That is so
Yeah.
great.
Please
That's
do.
perfect.
Please
That is
do.
so perfect.
That pretty much says it all in a nutshell, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 Well, if you had advice to give anybody, what would your advice be?
Meditate every single morning, ground yourself, listen to the silence, and be patient with life's flow, because no matter what, it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. So just let life flow. Don't fight it.
That's
There
great.
you go.
I love it, Christy. If people want to get a hold of you and track you down for, I don't know, public speaking or S&M conference, where do they get a hold of you?
You can email me at Christy's book. That's CHRISTYS book BOOK @gmail.com. And my Instagram is LIL Christy CHRISTY rocks ROCKS.
Little Christy Rocks.
I never changed it, and I was like, I did it a long time ago.
Love it. It's cute.
It works.
You know,
works
once you
for
have something, it's like it's yours.
Yeah.
So
thanks again for being our guest, Christy.
thank you.
And Carol, thank you for just being you.
Yeah, gorgeous.
That's all for this episode of Titan Evolution Podcast. We hope this no-holds-barred conversation opened your eyes on what it takes to live a genuinely happy life according to your own terms. Now that you've treated yourself to such a refreshing discussion, you cannot listen to nonsense content anymore. Be sure not to miss an episode by subscribing to the show at TitanEvolutionPodcast.com. Don't forget to share the word so more people can be enlightened, informed, and entertained. Thank you for listening.